Question 1. In Arkansas, a commercial property insurance policy includes a coinsurance clause. This clause stipulates that the insured must carry a specified percentage of the property's value as insurance coverage to avoid a penalty in the event of a partial loss. Which of the following statements is true about the coinsurance clause in Arkansas commercial property policies? A. The insurer will cover the full amount of a partial loss, regardless of the insured's coverage amount. B. If the insured carries less than the required percentage, they will face a penalty that reduces the amount of coverage provided for a loss. C. The coinsurance clause is only applicable for policies with replacement cost valuation. D. The penalty under the coinsurance clause applies only when the insured has failed to meet the full policy limit. Answer. B. If the insured carries less than the required percentage, they will face a penalty that reduces the amount of coverage provided for a loss. Explanation. The coinsurance clause in commercial property insurance requires the policyholder to maintain insurance coverage equal to a specified percentage of the value of the property. If the insured carries less than the required percentage, they will face a penalty, which results in a reduced payout for any covered loss. This is calculated based on the ratio of coverage the insured has compared to the required amount. For example, if the insured has $80,000 worth of coverage on a $100,000 building with an 80% coinsurance requirement, they will only recover a portion of that claim based on the $80,000 coverage. The other options are incorrect because option A is false because the insurer will only cover a partial loss proportionally if the insured is underinsured. Option C is misleading since the coinsurance clause can apply to both replacement cost and actual cash value SEV policies, not just replacement cost policies. Option D is incorrect as the penalty applies when the insured's coverage falls below the specified percentage, not just the full policy limit. Question 2. Mr. Robertson owns a small business and recently purchased a business owner's policy BOP. This policy includes property coverage, liability coverage, and business income coverage. Mr. Robertson's business faces a loss due to a fire that damages the building, resulting in both property damage and a temporary halt in business operations. How would the BOP business income coverage respond to this situation? A. It will cover the income lost during the period the business is temporarily closed due to the fire, with no limits on the amount or duration of coverage. B. It will only cover income lost if the fire was caused by a covered peril under the property coverage section of the policy. C. It will cover the income lost for up to a specific period, typically 12 months, depending on the terms of the policy. D. It will cover lost income, but only if the business had been operational for at least 12 months prior to the fire. Answer. C. It will cover the income loss for up to a specific period, typically 12 months, depending on the terms of the policy. Explanation. Business income coverage under BOP is designed to replace income that is lost due to a covered loss, such as a fire that interrupts the business's operations. The policy typically covers income loss for a specified period, which can vary depending on the policy terms, but it is usually limited to 12 months or less. The other options are incorrect because Option A is incorrect because business income coverage is limited to a specified period and amount as defined in the policy. Option B is wrong because business income coverage is generally triggered by a covered loss under the property section, but the coverage is not contingent on the specific cause of the fire, as implied. Option D is false because the length of business operation is generally not a requirement for business income coverage, although some conditions may apply depending on the insurer. Question 3, scenario-based. Mr. Harrison, the owner of a trucking company, has purchased commercial auto insurance for his fleet. One day, one of his drivers, who was driving a company truck, gets into an accident while delivering goods to a customer. The driver was at fault and Mr. Harrison's company faces a claim for bodily injury and property damage. Which of the following is true about the commercial auto liability coverage in this scenario? A. The insurance will only cover the bodily injury claim if the driver was employed by the company for more than 1 year. B. The insurance will cover the bodily injury and property damage claims even though the driver was at fault as long as the accident occurred within the course of business. C. The insurance will only cover bodily injury claims, but property damage will be excluded under commercial auto liability. D. The insurance will not cover any claims because the driver was at fault in the accident. Answer. B. The insurance will cover the bodily injury and property damage claims even though the driver was at fault as long as the accident occurred within the course of business. Explanation. Commercial auto liability insurance covers both bodily injury and property damage that occur due to an accident involving the insured vehicle. In this case, the driver was at fault, but the coverage will still apply as long as the accident occurred within the course of business, meaning while the driver was performing work duties, i.e., making a delivery the insurer will cover the costs up to the limits of the policy. The other options are incorrect because option A is irrelevant as the duration of employment is not a factor in determining liability coverage in a commercial auto policy. Option C is false because both bodily injury and property damage are typically covered under commercial auto liability policies, not just bodily injury. Option D is incorrect because liability insurance covers accidents where the driver is at fault provided it happens within the course of business. Question 4. Which of the following is NOT typically covered under commercial general liability CGL policy in Arkansas? A. Bodily injury caused by an employee while on company premises during normal working hours. B. Personal and advertising injury resulting from a defamatory statement made in an advertisement. C. Liability for damage to property the insured owns, rents, or leases. D. Medical payments for minor injuries sustained by a customer on the insured's business premises. Answer: C. Liability for damage to property the insured owns, rents, or leases. Explanation: a commercial general liability CGL policy generally covers liability arising from bodily injury and property damage to third parties. However, property damage to property the insured owns, rents, or leases is specifically excluded from standard CGL coverage. This exclusion is because property damage coverage for owned, rented, or leased property is typically handled under commercial property insurance, not CGL. Option A is incorrect because bodily injury on company premises is covered under CGL if the injury occurs due to the business operations. Option B is incorrect because personal and advertising injury (G) defamation is covered under coverage B of the CGL policy. Option D is incorrect because medical payments coverage is part of the CGL policy and can cover minor injuries on business premises regardless of fault. Question 5. Which of the following is an example of a named perils policy in commercial property insurance? A. A policy that covers any cause of loss except those specifically excluded in the policy. B. A policy that only covers losses from fire, lightning, and windstorm. C. A policy that covers all perils except those listed as exclusions in the policy's language. D. A policy that provides coverage for property damage from any loss with no restrictions on the type of peril. Answer: B. A policy that only covers losses from fire, lightning, and windstorm. Explanation: a named perils policy covers only the specific perils that are explicitly named in the policy. In this case, a policy that covers fire, lightning, and windstorm is an example of a named perils policy because it only covers those named perils and excludes others not specifically listed. Option A describes an all-risk or special form policy which covers all perils unless excluded. Option C also describes an all-risk policy, not a named perils policy. Option D describes an all-risk or special form policy which covers all causes of loss except exclusions. Question 6. Mr. Thompson has a business owner's policy, BOP, for his small retail store. The store was damaged in a storm and the damage was extensive. According to the BOP, which of the following is most likely to be excluded from coverage under the standard policy? A. Damage caused by fire after a lightning strike. B. Damage caused by windstorm if the store was in a designated flood zone. C. Damage to inventory caused by a burst pipe from a broken water main. D. Damage from theft after a break-in at the store's front door. Answer: B. Damage caused by windstorm if the store was in a designated flood zone. Explanation: the business owner's policy BOP typically covers a wide range of property damage but often excludes flood damage, especially in flood-prone areas or flood zones. Damage from windstorm could be covered, but if it occurs in a designated flood zone, there is likely a flood exclusion, and flood coverage must be purchased separately. This exclusion is commonly seen in many commercial policies. Option A is incorrect because fire caused by lightning is typically covered under most property insurance policies, including a BOP. Option C is incorrect because water damage from a burst pipe is typically covered under most property insurance policies. Option D is incorrect because theft caused by a break-in is usually covered under a standard commercial property policy. Question 7. In Arkansas, if an employer has workers' compensation insurance and one of their employees suffers an injury while traveling to or from work, which of the following statements is true? A. The employee is automatically covered under the employer's workers' compensation policy regardless of the injury's location. B. The employee will likely be covered if the injury occurred while performing duties related to the business, even if traveling to or from work. C. The employee is never covered for injuries sustained during the commute to or from work, regardless of the circumstances. D. The employee will only be covered if they were using company transportation at the time of the injury. Answer: B. The employee will likely be covered if the injury occurred while performing duties related to the business, even if traveling to or from work. Explanation: under workers' compensation insurance, injuries occurring while an employee is performing work-related duties are typically covered even if they occur while the employee is commuting to or from work. This is commonly known as the dual-purpose rule, where the employee was performing a work-related task, e.g., making a stop for work purposes during the commute. Option A is incorrect because workers' compensation coverage is not automatically provided for commuting unless the employee is engaged in a work-related task. Option C is incorrect because, as explained, commuting may be covered if the employee was performing work-related duties. Option D is incorrect because workers' compensation coverage can apply to situations beyond using company transportation. Question 8. Under commercial crime insurance policies, which of the following losses would NOT be covered? A. Employee theft of money from a cash register during business hours. B. Forgery of a company check by an employee to cash it for personal gain. C. Robbery of money and securities from a safe during non-business hours. D. Damage caused by fire to a business's inventory that was accidentally set by an employee. Correct answer: D. Damage caused by fire to a business's inventory that was accidentally set by an employee. Explanation: commercial crime insurance primarily covers fraudulent activities such as employee theft, forgery, or robbery. However, damage caused by fire to inventory is not typically covered under crime insurance. Instead, fire damage would usually be covered under commercial property insurance, as crime insurance focuses on dishonest acts like theft, robbery, or embezzlement. Option A is incorrect because employee theft is covered under commercial crime policies. Option B is incorrect because forgery of a company check is a typical coverage under crime insurance. Option C is incorrect because robbery of money and securities is a covered peril under commercial crime policies. Question 9. Which of the following is a common exclusion under commercial auto insurance policies in Arkansas? A. Damage to a vehicle caused by an accident while used for a business delivery. B. Damage to a vehicle caused by an employee's personal use during off hours. C. Damage to a vehicle caused by a hailstorm while it was parked on company premises. D. Damage to a vehicle caused by a collision with another vehicle while on a business trip. Answer: B. Damage to a vehicle caused by an employee's personal use during off hours. Explanation: commercial auto insurance typically excludes coverage for personal use of the vehicle by an employee, especially when the vehicle is used outside of business hours or for personal errands. For coverage to apply, the vehicle must generally be used for business purposes as defined by the policy. Option A is incorrect because business use of a vehicle for a delivery is typically covered under commercial auto insurance. Option C is incorrect because hailstorm damage is generally covered as an act of nature in commercial auto policies. Option D is incorrect because accidents during a business trip are covered by commercial auto insurance as long as the vehicle is being used for business purposes. Question 10. Which of the following is the primary purpose of commercial property insurance? A. To protect against financial losses due to legal judgments for personal injury claims. B. To provide coverage for damages to company vehicles used in business operations. C. To provide financial protection against physical damage or loss of property used in business operations. D. To cover the cost of employee health insurance and medical benefits. Answer: C. To provide financial protection against physical damage or loss of property used in business operations. Explanation: the primary purpose of commercial property insurance is to provide financial protection against physical damage to or loss of property that is used in the operation of the business, such as buildings, inventory, equipment, and other business assets. This includes perils such as fire, theft, vandalism, and certain weather-related events. Option A is incorrect because protection from legal judgments related to personal injury would fall under liability insurance, not property insurance. Option B is incorrect because vehicle coverage is typically provided by commercial auto insurance, not property insurance. Option D is incorrect because employee health insurance is part of employee benefits insurance, not commercial property insurance. Question 11. Which of the following is generally NOT, a covered peril under a commercial property insurance policy in Arkansas? A. Fire caused by lightning. B. Damage to property from a water main break. C. Loss of business income due to a government-ordered shutdown. D. Earthquake damage to buildings on the insured premises. Answer: C. Loss of business income due to a government-ordered shutdown. Explanation: Most commercial property insurance policies do not cover loss of business income due to government-mandated shutdowns unless it is specified under the business income interruption coverage. Even then, coverage may not extend to government actions like shutdowns during a pandemic or other circumstances unless specifically added. Option A is incorrect because fire caused by lightning is typically covered under commercial property insurance. Option B is incorrect because damage from a water main break is typically covered under commercial property insurance as water damage. Option D is incorrect because earthquake damage can be covered if the policy includes an earthquake endorsement, though it is often an excluded peril without one. Question 12. Which of the following best describes the occurrence trigger in a commercial general liability CGL policy? A. Coverage is triggered when a claim is made by a third party for an incident that occurred during the policy period. B. Coverage is triggered when the claimant submits the claim to the insurer within the policy period. C. Coverage is triggered when the incident happens during the policy period, even if the claim is filed after the policy ends. D. Coverage is triggered only if the insured is found to be at fault for the incident. Answer: C. Coverage is triggered when the incident happens during the policy period, even if the claim is filed after the policy ends. Explanation: in a commercial general liability CGL policy with an occurrence trigger, coverage is activated by the incident itself happening within the policy period, regardless of when the claim is actually filed. This means a claim can be filed after the policy period has expired as long as the incident occurred during the policy term. Option A describes a claims-made policy where coverage is triggered when the claim is made during the policy period, not when the incident happens. Option B is incorrect because coverage in a claims-made policy is tied to the timing of the claim, not the incident. Option D is incorrect because the insured's fault is not a factor in triggering coverage under an occurrence-based policy. Question 13. Which of the following types of coverage would most likely be included in a business owner's policy BOP for a small business? A. Coverage for a building owned by the business, including theft, vandalism, and fire damage. B. Coverage for injuries sustained by employees while performing their duties at work. C. Liability coverage for damages caused by the business's product, including faulty merchandise. D. Coverage for loss of business income during a natural disaster. Answer A. Coverage for a building owned by the business, including theft, vandalism, and fire damage. Explanation: a business owner's policy BOP typically includes property coverage for damage to a business's building and contents, including coverage for perils like fire, theft, and vandalism. This is a standard component of a BOP, which is designed to be a comprehensive package for small businesses. Option B is incorrect because workers' compensation insurance, not a BOP, provides coverage for injuries to employees while working. Option C is incorrect because product liability coverage is often purchased separately outside of a BOP as part of commercial general liability insurance. Option D is incorrect because business income coverage is typically included, but it needs a separate business income endorsement in the BOP. Question 14. What type of insurance would most likely cover an employee's theft of money from a business's cash register? A. Commercial general liability CGL insurance. B. Employee dishonesty or fidelity insurance. C. Workers' compensation insurance. D. Commercial property insurance. Answer: B. Employee dishonesty or fidelity insurance. Explanation: employee dishonesty or fidelity insurance specifically covers theft or fraud committed by employees, such as stealing money from a cash register. This coverage helps protect businesses from internal risks that other standard policies like CGL or property insurance would not cover. Option A is incorrect because CGL primarily covers third-party liabilities, not theft by employees. Option C is incorrect because workers' compensation covers injuries to employees, not theft or dishonesty. Option D is incorrect because commercial property insurance covers physical property damage, not theft by employees. Question 15. Which of the following scenarios would be covered by commercial auto insurance? A. An employee damages the company's delivery van while using it for personal errands on the weekend. B. An employee collides with another vehicle while delivering goods as part of their job duties. C. An employee's spouse drives the company's van for personal use and causes a minor accident. D. A business vehicle is stolen during a break-in after hours. Answer: B. An employee collides with another vehicle while delivering goods as part of their job duties. Explanation: commercial auto insurance covers accidents involving business vehicles, particularly when they are being used for business purposes. The collision with another vehicle during a work-related task, like making a delivery, is covered under this policy. Option A is incorrect because personal use of a company vehicle outside of work duties is generally not covered by commercial auto insurance. Option C is incorrect because the spouse's personal use is typically not covered under commercial auto insurance. Option D is incorrect because theft of a company vehicle is typically covered under comprehensive coverage in a commercial auto policy but would not be covered if the vehicle was used for personal purposes outside of work duties. Question 16. Which of the following is typically excluded from business interruption insurance in Arkansas? A. Loss of income due to fire damage to a business's primary location. B. Loss of income resulting from a government-mandated closure of the business due to health concerns. C. Loss of income caused by a utility failure that halts business operations for several days. D. Loss of income due to equipment breakdown that disrupts business services. Answer: B. Loss of income resulting from a government-mandated closure of the business due to health concerns. Explanation: business interruption insurance generally covers income loss due to physical damage or destruction of business property by a covered peril, such as fire or natural disasters. However, losses resulting from government-ordered shutdowns, such as those imposed during health crises or pandemics, are often excluded unless specifically added through endorsements. Option A is incorrect because loss due to fire damage is typically covered under business interruption insurance. Option C is incorrect because utility failure that disrupts business operations is generally covered. Option D is incorrect because losses due to equipment breakdown that cause interruptions may be covered by an endorsement. Question 17. Which of the following is not covered under a commercial general liability CGL policy for bodily injury claims in Arkansas? A. An employee injures a customer while moving boxes at a retail store. B. A customer slips on a wet floor in a business's restaurant. C. A customer is injured by a defective product sold by the business. D. A contractor is injured while working at the business's construction site. Answer: D. A contractor is injured while working at the business's construction site. Explanation: CGL policies typically cover bodily injury to third parties, such as customers or visitors to the business. However, contractors and other employees generally need workers' compensation coverage, not CGL, for injuries sustained during work. Option A is incorrect because an employee injuring a customer is covered under the CGL. Option B is incorrect because a customer slipping on a wet floor is covered by CGL. Option C is incorrect because product liability is also covered under CGL for injuries caused by defective products. Question 18. Which of the following is typically excluded from professional liability insurance in Arkansas? A. Negligence in the performance of professional duties. B. Errors or omissions in professional services provided to clients. C. Bodily injury sustained by a client due to the professional's advice. D. Intentional misconduct by the professional. Answer: D. Intentional misconduct by the professional. Explanation: professional liability insurance, also known as errors and omissions (EO insurance), covers negligence and mistakes in the performance of professional services, such as errors in advice, guidance, or services. However, it excludes coverage for intentional misconduct or fraudulent actions by the insured professional. Option A is incorrect because negligence is typically covered under professional liability insurance. Option B is incorrect because errors or omissions are the main type of claims covered by professional liability insurance. Option C is incorrect because bodily injury caused by professional advice is typically covered under general liability insurance, not professional liability insurance. Question 19. Which of the following is the main purpose of commercial inland marine insurance? A. To cover loss or damage to property caused by natural disasters. B. To cover the transportation of goods, materials, or equipment across locations. C. To provide coverage for vehicles used in business operations. D. To cover workers' compensation claims for business employees. Answer: B. To cover the transportation of goods, materials, or equipment across locations. Explanation: commercial inland marine insurance provides coverage for property that is being transported, whether by land, water, or air. It covers goods, equipment, or materials while in transit and at temporary locations, which are typically not covered under standard property policies. Option A is incorrect because inland marine focuses on transportation and is not specifically intended for covering damage from natural disasters. Option C is incorrect because vehicle coverage is typically provided by commercial auto insurance, not inland marine insurance. Option D is incorrect because workers' compensation covers employee injuries, not property in transit. Question 20. Which of the following types of insurance is specifically designed to cover the risk of cyber attacks on a business in Arkansas? A. Property insurance. B. Professional liability insurance. C. Cyber liability insurance. D. Commercial general liability insurance. Answer C. Cyber liability insurance. Explanation. Cyber liability insurance is specifically designed to cover risks related to cyber attacks, including data breaches, hacking, and other cyber incidents that can compromise the business's systems or customer data. Option A is incorrect because property insurance covers physical assets, not cyber risks. Option B is incorrect because professional liability insurance covers errors in professional services, not cyber threats. Option D is incorrect because commercial general liability (CGL) covers third-party bodily injury and property damage, not cyber-related risks. Let me know if you'd like further explanations or additional questions. Question 21. Which of the following is the primary purpose of a commercial crime insurance policy? A. To provide coverage for property damage to the business's building. B. To cover the cost of replacing stolen inventory or goods. C. To protect the business from losses due to criminal acts like theft, burglary, or employee dishonesty. D. To cover losses due to lawsuits resulting from injury to customers. Answer C. To protect the business from losses due to criminal acts like theft, burglary, or employee dishonesty. Explanation. Commercial crime insurance is designed to protect businesses from financial losses due to criminal activities such as theft, burglary, robbery, or employee dishonesty. It helps reimburse the business for the loss of money, securities, or other property. Option A is incorrect because property damage to the building is covered under commercial property insurance, not crime insurance. Option B is incorrect because inventory losses would be covered by commercial property insurance or business interruption insurance, not crime insurance. Option D is incorrect because general liability insurance typically covers customer injury claims, not crimes or theft. Question 22. In Arkansas, a commercial umbrella policy is designed to A. Extend coverage over a company's physical assets, B. Increase the limits of liability coverage beyond the limits of an existing insurance policy, C. Provide coverage for employees' injuries while on the job, D. Cover damages resulting from defective products sold by the business. Answer B. Increase the limits of liability coverage beyond the limits of an existing insurance policy. Explanation. A commercial umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage over and above the limits of other liability policies, such as general liability, auto liability, or workers' compensation. It acts as a safety net in case claims exceed the primary policy's limits. Option A is incorrect because a commercial umbrella policy does not cover physical assets that would be covered by property insurance. Option C is incorrect because workers' compensation covers employee injuries, not the umbrella policy. Option D is incorrect because product liability is covered by product liability insurance, not a commercial umbrella policy. Question 23. Which of the following is not a common exclusion under commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Damage to property the insured owns. B. Injuries resulting from professional services provided by the insured. C. Damage to an employee's property during the course of employment. D. Bodily injury caused by an intentional act. Answer C. Damage to an employee's property during the course of employment. Explanation. CGL policies generally exclude coverage for damage to property the insured owns, damage to employee property while working, and injuries resulting from intentional acts. However, coverage may be available under other types of insurance, such as workers' compensation. Option A is incorrect because damage to property the insured owns is excluded under CGL. Option B is incorrect because injuries from professional services are typically excluded from CGL coverage but may be covered by professional liability insurance. Option D is incorrect because intentional acts are not covered under CGL policies. Question 24. What type of coverage would a business owner in Arkansas typically add to their commercial property insurance to protect against loss of income due to damage to their property? A. Equipment breakdown coverage. B. Business interruption insurance. C. Inland marine insurance. D. Product liability insurance. Answer B. Business interruption insurance. Explanation. Business interruption insurance is added to commercial property insurance to provide coverage for lost income when a business is unable to operate due to a covered property loss, such as fire or storm damage. Option A is incorrect because equipment breakdown coverage protects against the failure of business equipment, not loss of income. Option C is incorrect because inland marine insurance covers property in transit or movable property, not loss of income. Option D is incorrect because product liability insurance covers injuries caused by defective products, not loss of income due to property damage. Question 25. Under Arkansas law, the minimum liability coverage required for a commercial auto policy for a vehicle used in business operations is A. $50,000 per accident for bodily injury and $25,000 for property damage. B. $100,000 per accident for bodily injury and $50,000 for property damage. C. $25,000 per person for bodily injury and $25,000 for property damage. D. $300,000 per accident for bodily injury and $100,000 for property damage. Answer A. $50,000 per accident for bodily injury and $25,000 for property damage. Explanation: the minimum liability coverage for a commercial auto policy in Arkansas generally includes $50,000 per accident for bodily injury and $25,000 for property damage. However, these limits may be higher depending on the nature of the business or the vehicle. Option B is incorrect because these limits are higher than the minimum required. Option C is incorrect because the limits for bodily injury and property damage are lower than the required amounts. Option D is incorrect because these limits are above the minimum required for basic commercial auto coverage. Question 26. Which of the following is typically excluded under a commercial property insurance policy? A. Fire damage to business equipment. B. Theft of inventory by an employee. C. Water damage from a burst pipe. D. Loss of property due to earthquakes. Answer: D. Loss of property due to earthquakes. Explanation: commercial property insurance typically excludes coverage for earthquake damage. To protect against this risk, businesses can purchase additional coverage or an endorsement for earthquake insurance. Option A is incorrect because fire damage is generally covered under commercial property insurance. Option B is incorrect because theft of inventory due to employee actions is generally covered by commercial crime insurance or an endorsement. Option C is incorrect because water damage due to burst pipes is typically covered by commercial property insurance. Question 27. Which of the following would not typically be covered under a commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Claims arising from a slip and fall accident in a business's retail store. B. Property damage caused by the business during operations. C. Injuries resulting from a defective product sold by the business. D. Legal expenses associated with defending a lawsuit for wrongful termination of an employee. Answer: D. Legal expenses associated with defending a lawsuit for wrongful termination of an employee. Explanation: CGL policies typically cover bodily injury and property damage caused by the business's operations, products, or services. However, wrongful termination lawsuits and other employment-related claims are generally excluded and require separate employment practices liability insurance. Option A is incorrect because slip and fall accidents are typically covered under CGL policies. Option B is incorrect because property damage caused by business operations is generally covered under CGL policies. Option C is incorrect because product liability claims are typically covered under CGL policies. Question 28. What is the primary purpose of workers' compensation insurance for a business in Arkansas? A. To provide coverage for property damage due to workplace accidents. B. To cover medical expenses and lost wages for employees injured on the job. C. To provide legal defense for employee lawsuits against the business. D. To cover lost business income due to employee injury. Answer: B. To cover medical expenses and lost wages for employees injured on the job. Explanation: workers' compensation insurance is designed to provide financial protection for employees who suffer job-related injuries or illnesses. It typically covers medical treatment, rehabilitation, and a portion of lost wages while employees are unable to work. Option A is incorrect because workers' compensation does not cover property damage that would be covered under property insurance. Option C is incorrect because legal defense for employee lawsuits would be handled by employment practices liability insurance. Option D is incorrect because business income lost due to employee injury is typically covered under business interruption insurance, not workers' compensation. Question 29. Which of the following best describes a claims-made professional liability insurance policy? A. Coverage is triggered when the incident causing the claim occurs during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. B. Coverage is triggered when the claim is made during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. C. Coverage is only provided if the insured is found negligent in providing professional services. D. Coverage is available only if the insured is involved in a lawsuit related to property damage. Answer: B. Coverage is triggered when the claim is made during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. Explanation: a claims-made policy provides coverage for claims made during the policy period, even if the incident that caused the claim occurred before the policy period, as long as it was not prior to the retroactive date. Option A describes an occurrence-based policy which covers incidents that happen during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. Option C is incorrect because a claims-made policy covers claims filed during the policy period, regardless of negligence. Option D is incorrect because professional liability insurance covers errors or omissions in professional services, not property damage. Question 30. What does commercial inland marine insurance typically cover? A. Damages to the business property resulting from a fire. B. Property in transit or at a temporary location. C. Worker injuries on the business premises. D. Damages to a vehicle used for business purposes. Answer: B. Property in transit or at a temporary location. Explanation: commercial inland marine insurance covers property that is being transported or is temporarily located at a job site or another place other than the business's primary location. It is commonly used for goods or equipment in transit or stored at a temporary site. Option A is incorrect because commercial property insurance covers damages from fire, not inland marine. Option C is incorrect because workers' compensation covers employee injuries, not inland marine. Option D is incorrect because commercial auto insurance covers business vehicle damage, not inland marine.